Nicky Sinden is addicted to fishing.
Whether it's straylining for big snapper, jigging for kingfish, spearfishing or diving, she loves it all and is on a constant quest to learn more. Join her each week as she road trips around the country, tracking down New Zealand's local fishing legends as they share their stories, tapping into their local knowledge and showcasing their tips, tricks and techniques.
Hi, I'm Nikki from A-Z, Addicted to Fishing. Having a serious fishing weapon like my Stabicraft 2400 powered with my Mercury Verado means that I can confidently travel further. I've been given some puka marks from a friend of mine, so I'm going to use that as some inspiration to head out wide, 40 miles offshore in the Hapuka Gulf, and this week I'm taking you with me, along with my film crew, and we're going to try and get some tasty puka and maybe even some kingies on the way home. The Hapuka Gulf is one of New Zealand's expansive fisheries, extending from the Coromandel to the Mokohinau Islands. It's a thriving fishery, which rejuvenates itself and has a lot to offer all year round. I'm launching from Gulf Harbour Boat Ramp. It's easy for me to launch the boat virtually by myself and gives easy access to head out wide. This is the perfect opportunity to share the different rigs and setups that we use on the show and to go over some of the features of our new ride. Right, so we've just arrived at the spot. We've been on the plane for nearly 2 hours. The Verado has been my best friend during this trip. Very comfortable ride, I have to say, in the new Stabie. The new Arrow pontoon design has been fantastic. Very smooth. Now, the TZ Touch is telling me that these marks, I've programmed them in and it's got some really good sign on the bottom. I think what we'll probably do is put the track rec on, we'll set up the drift. We've got a bit of a southerly wind today, but I'm pretty sure that the TZ Touch will help me find the fish anyway. Now I've got my Anarchy set up with my Trinidad 30, heaps of braid on it, only in 210 metres, so we're going to drop it down and hopefully we can wrangle some fish. I'm one of those fishing nerds that sits at home and makes rigs before we go out. Actually did that on New Year's Eve. I was in bed by 10 o'clock because we're going fishing the next morning. But what we've done here is I've set up a puka rig, one of my favourite ones for puka, blue nose, you can even get a bycatcher bass. And what we've got is a 400-pound leader. We've got some Lumo tubing, which helps the fish find our bait. And I love these little brand swivels because it stops your main line from getting all twisted up. Now, we're putting it on my Shimano Trinidad 30A and my Shimano Anarchy rod. This is one of my favourite setups. We've got a whole heap of bait from our mates over at Salty Dog. I've got a bit of a selection for us to try in our little spots today. And hoping for some puka, but you never know what else could be down there. Okay, so now it's time to complete the rest of our rig. I've got a 32-ounce sinker here. And I've got some Suffolk's 80-pound traps. What we're going to do is we're going to make a breakaway sinker. The reason that we use a breakaway sinker is because if our line does happen to get stuck on the bottom, then it means that we're not going to lose all of our gear, all of our rigs and things, because these things take time and money to set up, and I don't mind losing a sinker if I get the rest back. So Just gonna tie this on using a uni knot and then put it down. Got a chili bin full of tasty baits. And yeah, I'm looking forward to this. Very exciting doing this on my own boat. Just me and the film crew. Wonder what we're gonna get. Okay, so the way that I'm gonna put my bait on is I'm going to put it up through the top. And then I'm gonna go back down. Want my hook to be nice and exposed there. We want this to be looking as natural as possible. So we'll do the second one as well. And another reason that we do this is so that the bait doesn't spin on the way down. Okay, so while I've been setting up my gear, we've been letting the boat drift so that we can mark exactly which way we're gonna go. And then what I'm gonna do here is we're gonna come back around onto the mark. We're gonna go ahead of it so that by the time my bait drops all the way down to 200 meters, we should hopefully be bang on top of it. So, I love my TZ Touch because on the way out here, we actually noticed a couple of little rocks and things that I wanted to check out a little bit later. So I saw them on my sounder and I marked them on the sounder and an exact mark pops up on my chart plotter. And if you actually touch on any of these marks, it will come up with a screenshot of what it looks like on the sounder. So you may go over it a year later and think, why did I mark that? You can look at it and it's like, oh, but it's a big bait ball of Jack Max was sitting there at 40 meters. That might be a good marlin spot or whatever. So.
Coming up, I deploy some baits to see what's on the Hapuka reefs.
Oh, she's a feisty one.
This week, I'm on my own exploring the outer Hapuka Gulf in search of a couple of deep water reef species.
Using rainbow braid today, so I know exactly how far I'm dropping down. We're going all the way to the bottom, but say that we weren't, if we were doing, say, jigging or other types of fishing where you need to drop down to a specific area, it's really handy because it changes colour every 10 metres. Another key thing that you're going to need if you want to come puka fishing, make sure that you've got a good boatman. My camera assistant, he knows how to drive a boat, which is very handy for situations like this. As you can see on the TZ Touch over there, this is a perfect drift. It's going to make my bait right on top of that mark when I finish putting my line down. So now what we're trying to do is keep the sinker hard on the bottom, and I'm just keeping in touch with my line, feeling for any nods, any confident nods like that. That's fish. Remember that we've got 2 hooks on there, so even when we get one, we're going to wait, and then we're just going to wind like that. Oh, she's a feisty one. Puka is one of my favourite fish to eat. I love it because you can eat it in so many different ways. You can crust it, you can pan fry it, you can do almost anything. Except a sashimi, I probably wouldn't do that, but you never know. I'm gonna take my jumper off for this one. Let's see what this anarchy rod's made out of, eh? Such a nice smooth reel. Absolutely love my Trinidad 30. And the anarchy, I can use this rod for so many different styles of fishing. I use it for jigging, live baiting, puka, woohoo, this peeling line. He is not happy. I'm pretty happy, but he's not happy. Yeah, so we're starting to get a bit of angle on our line. Generally means that the puka, their swim bladder is inflating. And so generally you'll see them, you'll notice that your line will start angling and then the fish will pop up 20 meters away from the boat. See it? Woo, it's a puka! And that bird wants it. Woo! Tasty puka! Whew, that was fun. Right, so we've managed to welcome this fish aboard with our bat, with a big on the head, which has calmed it right down. Now, what we're going to do is going to pick it up, but there's a couple of points on the fish that you want to be really careful of because they're spikes and you don't want to get them in your feet or in your hands. So the spikes that you want to be careful of are here, here, and down along here. And you don't want to grab your fish by the mouth either because it's like sandpaper and it will cut your hands. But there is a little sweet spot just up in here. Now, we'll show you with the camera, but it's really important not to touch its gills either because it's razor sharp. So I know it sounds a bit complicated, but there is a sweet little spot that will put your fingers up in this bit here. These VNC circle hooks, they roll out nice and easily. There we go. Find my little sweet spot that runs just in there. And it runs just in there. And that's my puka. This is actually really small for this species of fish. Some of you at home may be thinking, wow, that's really big, but it's probably only 8 to 10 kilos. But we're going to get a lot of meat off this. I'm going to share it with my film crew. Don't worry, guys, you'll be shared. And yeah, yum, tasty.
Tackle tips and tactics, brought to you by Smart Marine.
When it comes to fishing, we're always looking for different ways to up the chances of us catching fish. When you're doing deep drops for fish such as blue nose, puka or bass, it's always a good idea to somehow light up your rig. Now there's a couple of different lights that you can use. We on the show today use Lumo tubing. Another option is also a glow stick. Very simple, very cost effective. Clip it onto your light, send it down. If you want to get a little bit more technical, you can get a platinum light. Now these lights are fantastic. They're obviously waterproof and they do last and go down to those depths. So it's all about upping your chances, and that's what our mates at Smart Marine have got for us this week.
For all your fishing needs, head on down to your local Smart Marine store. Coming up, it's all about bent rods and taking home a tasty feed. This week on A-Z Addicted to Fishing, I am on my own showing off my techniques and new gear close to home in the outer Hapuka Gulf.
Time to get a little bit more serious. Gonna try the old squid and mackerel combination. We had squid on before and we caught that little hapuka. Now we're going for something a bit bigger. So because it's a circle hook, you gotta let them eat it. So you don't wanna strike when they first start biting, but when they actually got it in their mouths and they're chewing it, so when you wanna get 3 or 4 big winds in and then pull up. So when I fish for pukas, I'm just keeping an eye on the last guide and I'm just watching it. You just imagine that the bait's right in front of him and you're lifting it up slowly, putting it down. Yep. Yep, that's a puka. This has a bucket-like feeling where it's just like a weight. This has definitely got the puka feel to it. It's a bass. So this is quite possibly the world's smallest bass. This would actually be perfect for a sword bait. So the reason that I can tell that this is a bass compared to a hapuka is a couple of things. It's got the same spike structure around all these bits here, but see how it's got the markings that almost look like veins? It's all grey, and that's part of the reason that I know, as well as the jawline. So hapuka have a longer jaw. This is more of a round-shaped jaw. I don't know how on earth the TZ Touch found a bass this small, but that's a pretty good sounder. This is going to be such a tasty treat. Pukas are known to be the apex predators down there. We've caught puka before and we've dissected it as we filleted it, and there's actually been sharks in there. So they will eat anything that comes in front of them, and I'm really hoping that my bait lands itself right in front of a puka. Yep, we are on. Yeah, that's it. Such a good feeling to come out on your own boat, do a bit of pioneering. Feels good just to spend a bit of time getting to know your new boat. We've got 300 litres of fuel on ours, so we know that we can go well offshore and do a bit more exploring. We're still into the puka and it's feeling like it's a good fish. Whew. These pukas are such voracious, opportunistic feeders. You just gotta make sure that you get your bait right in front of that fish. Sometimes it can take a bit to really line up that drift and to get it right, but once you position yourself ahead of the mark and you understand which way you're going to drift, it may take a couple of times, but once you nail it, I'm telling you now, it feels good. As I'm pulling this fish up, I'm already thinking about how I'm going to cook it for dinner. If you are looking for some recipes for your hapuka or other fish, you can go to our Facebook page as well. We quite often share the recipes of how we cook our catch. Just search A-Z Addicted to Fishing on Facebook. Okay, it's starting to get a bit of angle, which is another good sign. It's a puka! No! No!
These pesky birds try their luck at stealing my catch. I don't think so.
Right. Felt good to pull in. This is probably going to feed about 8 different people, this one fish. The meat from these things just goes so far. It's fantastic. The daily catch allowance for these fish is 5 per person. We've got a couple in the bin though, so I don't think we need to take any more. This is certainly not the biggest puka. I think the world record puka sits at about 80 kilos, but this is perfect eating size and I'm stoked. Okay, so that's more than enough puka and bass for myself and my film crew. And that's what it's about for us. It's about catching a feed. And yeah, I hope that you've learned something today on A-Z Addicted to Fishing, and we look forward to bringing you some more next week.
Gear, Care and Catch, brought to you by Trade Zone. Saltwater is never friendly to electronic components, so that's why we want to use some of this CRC contact cleaner. We want to put it onto the truck end of our adapter as well as the boat end, because what we want to do is make sure that there's no corrosion, otherwise the two won't meet and it won't work, and that's not what we want. So we're just going to give it a quick spray here, and then we're going to give it a quick spray here. You can also use it on other areas, such as our super winch. One of those things that you want to do after every time that you've dunked it in the water to make sure that it works for you the next time. For all your engineering needs, head on down to your local Trade Zone store. Check out the A-Z Addicted to Fishing YouTube channel to catch all of our previous episodes. And don't forget to head over to our Facebook page for competitions, news, reviews and updates. A-Z Addicted to Fishing adventures in confidence in our Stabicraft, which is powered by our Mercury Marine, and we tow it around in our Ford Ranger. Smart Marines supply us with our Shimano tackle. We find the best fishing spots with our Furuno. We celebrate our catch with a wild buck. We keep up to date with Fishing World magazine, and it all sticks together thanks to A-Z.